members of Urban Science. Find them live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, we have been updating archiving. You can find many old Cypher sessions for your enjoyment. So that's it. Send us your new versions of Pass the Beat number 4. Very interested in seeing what y'all come up with. Have a good one.
Si le ciel tombe, que la mer monte, ça ne sera que justice. Y'a trop d'orgueil dans les hommes actions, frère, l'être humain n'est que caprice.
Welcome to Pass the Beat number 4, this time with David Osei. And we've also got Harvey Drums. As usual, add your own flavor to it. Post your video online and tag Urban Science. Use the hashtag #PassTheBeat. Also, we've been putting a list of recommendations on the Google Drive of different software to use, as well as some links to tutorials and all this kind of thing. And if you have any other software suggestions, please do send us so we can share this with other people. We've also started an artist interview series that's going to take place every single Thursday and feature members of Urban Science. Find them live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, we have been updating archiving. You can find many old Cypher sessions for your enjoyment. So that's it. Send us your new versions of Pass the Beat number 4. Very interested in seeing what y'all come up with. Have a good one.
Si le ciel tombe, que la mer monte, ça ne sera que justice. Y'a trop d'orgueil dans les hommes actions, frère, l'être humain n'est que caprice.
Welcome to Pass the Beat number 4, this time with David Osei. And we've also got Harvey Drums. As usual, add your own flavor to it. Post your video online and tag Urban Science. Use the hashtag #PassTheBeat. Also, we've been putting a list of recommendations on the Google Drive of different software to use, as well as some links to tutorials and all this kind of thing. And if you have any other software suggestions, please do send us so we can share this with other people. We've also started an artist interview series that's going to take place every single Thursday and feature members of Urban Science. Find them live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, we have been updating archiving. You can find many old Cypher sessions for your enjoyment. So that's it. Send us your new versions of Pass the Beat number 4. Very interested in seeing what y'all come up with. Have a good one.
Si le ciel tombe, que la mer monte, ça ne sera que justice. Y'a trop d'orgueil dans les hommes actions, frère, l'être humain n'est que caprice.
Welcome to Pass the Beat number 4, this time with David Osei. And we've also got Harvey Drums. As usual, add your own flavor to it. Post your video online and tag Urban Science. Use the hashtag #PassTheBeat. Also, we've been putting a list of recommendations on the Google Drive of different software to use, as well as some links to tutorials and all this kind of thing. And if you have any other software suggestions, please do send us so we can share this with other people. We've also started an artist interview series that's going to take place every single Thursday and feature members of Urban Science. Find them live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, we have been updating archive, and you can find many old Cypher sessions for your enjoyment. So that's it. Send us your new versions of Pass the Beat number 4. Very interested in seeing what y'all come up with. Have a good one.
Dans tous les liquides que l'on boit, si le ciel tombe, que la mer monte, ça ne sera que justice. Y'a trop d'orgueil dans les actions, frère, l'être humain n'est que caprice.
Welcome to Pass the Beat number 4, this time with David Osei. And we've also got Harvey Drums. As usual, add your own flavor to it. Post your video online and tag Urban Science. Use the hashtag #PassTheBeat. Also, we've been putting a list of recommendations on the Google Drive of different software to use, as well as some links to tutorials and all this kind of thing. And if you have any other software suggestions, please do send us so we can share this with other people. We've also started an artist interview series that's going to take place every single Thursday and feature members of Urban Science. Find them live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, we have been updating archive, and you can find many old Cypher sessions for your enjoyment. So that's it. Send us your new versions of Pass the Beat number 4. Very interested in seeing what y'all come up with. Have a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the, I believe, 6th edition of our The Process interviews. We've got a wonderful guest for you tonight. If you don't know, Urban Science has been doing our Pass the Beat initiatives for the last little while. Check it out on Instagram and on YouTube. We've also been updating our YouTube archives with all kinds of old Cypher sessions. And we just started actually a merch store. I'm going to mention that we do have a merch store that you can find the link on our website, or just go to urbsci.com/merch and find the merch store. You know, people have always complained, I want to get a hat, but you don't have the right color or the right whatever. So now we have every damn color you could ever want. So all that stuff aside, that's not my job right now. My job right now is to introduce to you a wonderful musician. He is a Montreal native, raised in Park X. He started on classical violin at age 10. I didn't know this. Classical violin at age 10 at l'École Le Plateau. And then he only started playing piano in high school at 15. So piano is actually a secondary instrument. This guy, of course, is Theo Abellard. To put some context, if you're like, who's this violinist that plays with Urban Science? No, he's a piano player. Theo Abellard is his name. Grew up in church, developed a strong and a spiritually transcendent approach to music and music making. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, make some noise for Theo Abellard! Woo! Woo! Yeah, Theo!
How's it going? How's it going?
I'm good. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
just trying to survive this quarantine.
Well, that's it. You know, we were just talking before we started up. You know, I'm in the basement of my house. He's in the basement as well. We're just trying to, you know, not get outside and try. I guess. I mean, I don't know. Have you been outside much or not or?
Not much actually. Like I think I've been outside maybe 4 times.
Okay, well, that's definitely not much.
Yeah. Not even for like. But lately, I've been like, not maybe this week or last week I started going out a lot more. But I think like before like these past 2 weeks, I could count like it was 4 times that I went outside, and it was an event for me.
Yeah.
You know? My gosh, this exists. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's that's I don't know how long it's going to be before things could get. I mean, I'm all for this, but it's we live in a weird world now, right now.
It's weird.
Yes, it is. So Theo, I figured I'd start off the conversation with a little something. I'd like to maybe not get your reaction to, but just tell me a little bit about this.
Oh my gosh.
Who is in the photo? What's going on? What's the context? Tell us about it.
My gosh. So basically, that was back when in Park X. So like I grew up in Park X. Right now I live in Montreal. But in Park X, like that was our apartment, and basically I'm the kid on the left with the like big eyes and the like, you know.
I can totally see it. I can totally, like, sometimes I have a hard time telling from a young man to an older person, but I can totally see that's you.
Yeah, that's me. And in the middle, that's my older sister. Nice. And in right there, that's my little brother. Yeah, so, I remember I was just excited because I don't know if you see behind my sister, there's the Nesquik thing.
Oh, yes, so right here. I can zoom in.
Yeah. So basically, I had like, because back when I was a kid, I couldn't drink milk if it wasn't with Nesquik in it. So I was just so happy that I had my Nesquik like milk thing.
You got your fix.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess this also answers the question of where your obsession with Corey Henry came from. Because clearly it was the glasses before the playing. I'm just kidding.
Before my time. Yeah.
I just wanted to do a quick shout out to John Arsenault and Alexis who just joined on the stream. John actually asks, can we bring back staff snaps? I would love to bring back staff. So for those who know, I imagine most people have no idea what the hell we're talking about, but there was at least one cipher where Theo had a staff, and back then John was managing our Snapchat account. I don't know why I put quotes on Snapchat. Anyway, but there was a whole series of Theo staff snaps, hashtag staff snaps. I tried to find them and I couldn't find them. I probably have them somewhere, but I couldn't find them. So unfortunately, I can't bring them back to get the reaction. But I will mention actually that we can't actually see when people join the stream, but we can see if you comment or like or whatever. So definitely just drop us a little something just so we know that everything's up and running. But yeah, anyway, so that's where it all began in Park X.
Yeah, Park X. Yep.
So where in Park X were you?
So
not that I know all the streets and everything, but you know,
was on Du Rocher and Saint-Roch.
Oh, okay.
Right at the corner of Du Rocher and Saint-Roch, right there.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was right above. There's a daycare right there. So like under us, there was a daycare. Yeah.
Right.
I think it's still there. The daycare is still there. Yeah.
Maybe.
It's right across the Centre William Hingston. I don't know if you know, like it's like a community center.
No, I don't know.
In Park X, where there's the library. I don't know if you know the library in Park X.
I don't really know. The only thing I know about Park X is all the amazing restaurants.
Yeah. Actually, my friend, one of my best friends, actually, his parents own the Maison Indien Curie restaurant.
No way.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I've been there. I've been to Bombay Mahal, of course. That's the one that I mean. There's a ton of Indian restaurants, African restaurants. There's it's just great food in that area. I gotta say,
I've never been to any of the other Indian restaurants. Just go because I swore like loyalty to like my friend's restaurant. So I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you're like all the rest. Not worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not worth it. So yeah, we started all the way at the back. You're now in Laval, living in the basement, I guess, for now. You've had many different kind of passions and interests in life. So I'd like to, if I get this working correctly, yes. So I'm gonna ask again for a little context and explanation on this.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That's crazy.
So where is this? What's going on here?
That's at my high school, Pierre Laporte. So we were having this little like dunk contest. I'm the kid with the white hoodie.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just having this little dunk contest.
So how high off the ground is that?
It's really not. It's really not. Plus,
here we go.
The what's it called? I think I missed this dunk too.
But you tried to do it behind the. I mean, that's not easy, man.
But I remember, yeah, like because basically this is right in front of the school, but it's somebody's garage. Like,
you don't even know who it was.
Yeah, it's not the schools. So we actually got in trouble, like for doing this. But yeah, we still do it.
Yeah. Oh, wait, do you make this one? I don't know.
I have no plastic.
Oh, there we go. Okay, that's a good place to.
Let's end on that note.
Yeah, exactly. And everything after that, you totally made. John Arsenault says, shout out to Indian Curry. John Arsenault also says, behind the back. Mary Kateley is watching as well. So I shout out to everybody on the stream. Yeah, so you've had an interest in basketball for something. I have never followed any sports. I'm not a sports guy at all, but I did watch The Last Dance, and I enjoy basketball the most if it's on, but I don't follow what's happening. Are you somebody who's always?
I'm kind of the same. Like ever since I think. I can't remember what year that video is from, but like ever
that was last year. What are you talking about? That was
yeah, but like ever since I started like being serious about music, I kind of like slowed down on all my other habits.
Sure, yeah.
So I think I would watch it when just like you, like when it's on or when it's the playoffs.
Right.
But yeah, but basketball players really inspire me, like in my work ethic, like especially like Kobe. So like when Kobe passed, like that was a big heartbreak for me because like he was like, I kind of based off like my whole work ethic off of his mentality. So like and like just the aggressiveness of the game and like just the craft and like just the everyday discipline thing, like I kind of really get inspired by basketball players like Russell Westbrook, Kobe, Derrick Rose, nice. these guys. Yeah.
Do you like, are you familiar with the older school at all, or is it really like
I mean, not really. Like I have a lot of friends that are geeks,
right?
But like I don't really know that much about the older days. Kevin Durant used to be my favorite player until he like left the Thunders.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm more of a new school kind of guy.
Fair enough. I like getting little reactions to things. And so do you play at all still or not really? Or
Nah, not really. I try. I've been trying to like go like shoot some baskets lately, but not really. I'm trying to get back into it.
We'll get you back into it. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, true.
There is yeah. Remy has been organizing it. Whoa, something just went crazy with whatever. Skype is freaking out as usual. But Remy is organizing regular basketball. So obviously, we're not doing it right now. But when it comes back, you should definitely do it.
I definitely pass by. For sure. Dunk on some people.
Yeah. When I do, I mean, John is on the stream right now, so I'm mentioning this particularly for him, but John is a huge basketball fan. And if you search on his Facebook to the first video he ever posted on Facebook, you will find a epic trick shot montage with John and his brother.
You got a hook mixtape? You got a hook mixtape?
Oh, yeah. So you're going to have to check that out.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I'll check it out.
So tell me a little bit about let's switch back into music a little bit, and tell me a little bit about like how you started playing and musical upbringing and all this stuff.
Oh man, so basically, like my first memories of music are at church. So at my church, we would have like musicians, and there was like a brass band and stuff like that.
Nice.
And so to me, like it was very clear from the beginning that like for me that music is a very spiritual thing, you know what I'm saying? And like I could experience like on a real level like the power of music from a young age, you know what I'm saying? So even before I ever played an instrument, I knew that music was more than just the notes, you know what I'm saying? It was more than just the notes on a page or like the sound of it. It had something else to it, you know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of people at church, like for example, like people will be singing like all together and individually, like a lot of these people are terrible singers. They can't sing like
yeah.
It's true, like they can't sing in tune or on pitch, but when everybody sings together, it sounds amazing.
Right.
So I could tell that like there was something else to it. You know what I'm saying?
In terms of like, did you have other people in the family that played music or that played music?
Yeah,
or
my dad plays guitar. My dad plays guitar, and he plays piano and he sings too. And my mom sings, and all my siblings play music too.
Oh wow! Okay, what instruments do your siblings play?
My brother plays trumpet.
Wow. Okay, I had no idea. Wow.
Yeah.
That's not just a random instrument. That's something.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's very, yeah. Well, I mean, I used to play the violin too, so it's
yeah.
My sister plays the clarinet and the saxophone.
Okay. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Do they still play or?
I mean, in this quarantine, I'm trying to like kind of like kick their butts a little bit on practicing and stuff.
Right.
So so during this quarantine, we've been trying to shed more.
Nice.
Yeah, but I'm the only one that does it professionally. I'm sure you would have heard about them.
Well, hey, I mean, who knows? I mean, I'm not connected with for example, the gospel scene at all, and I know that there's people who only play in church and don't play outside. So there's lots of people I don't know at all, you know. But that's cool. I had no idea that you're so okay. So then I'm gonna jump straight to this because I wonder whether this may or not, I don't know. So who is these guys?
Oh my God. This is crazy. This is in high school. So basically, these are my guys, man. Like these is like the first band I've ever been in really, because I remember, so basically, context, when I was 15, there was at my school there was this one teacher, Claude Mayer. So he had a jazz workshop, improv workshop thing he was doing, but he was playing piano in it, and my friends in there. Yeah, I think that's him right there in this. Yeah. That's
so does he also play saxophone? I guess
he plays saxophone, but he was playing the piano. But then when he because like when I started playing piano basically I was supposed to be practicing violin, and like we had like practice like sessions, like we had like actual classes that were like meant for us to practice, but like there was a piano in the room, so I would only just practice the piano, and like I would get in trouble because like they'd be like, oh, you can't play piano, like your instrument is violin, and that was like kind of counterproductive because it kind of made me hate the violin. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Well, so
Because it
what got
wouldn't-
you to start violin, and then like how did that all happen?
So basically, when I was a kid, I was going to I think we got a letter at our house, like from l'école Le Plateau.
Yeah.
That was saying. So I think one of my teachers saw that I had an ear for music and stuff like that. So like they recommended that I go to that school.
Mhm.
So and then I remember when I went to that school, I think it was mandatory to take violin for like a couple years.
Right. So that's like their intro instrument kind of thing.
Exactly. Right. So I just started playing the violin. So it kind of just happened.
It was the required instrument. It wasn't because you chose it or anything like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I think there was options for me to choose, but like I think I came like kind of later. I came like in the 5th grade.
Okay.
And so I think there was something about I couldn't choose because people had already chosen their instrument. So
right.
there was the violin left. So I kind of had to.
You were stuck.
Stick to, yeah, exactly. But I mean, I enjoyed it. It until they started telling me I couldn't. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Then you're like, you can't do it. What do you mean I can't? I can do whatever.
Exactly. So I kind of made me hate it, and I kind of regret that I don't play it anymore.
Well, how long had you been playing violin when you kind of switched or started messing around on the piano, or how did that?
So I had been playing from 10 to 15. So when I started playing piano, I had been playing violin for 5 years already.
Okay. Right.
And I played it all throughout high school. So like in total like 7 years. But when I graduated high school, it wasn't my violin, so I had to give it back.
So you don't play at all anymore, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I borrowed one like actually this year. I borrowed one from one of my friends at McGill.
Okay.
A classical violin, to see if it was a cool experience because I borrowed the violin and I practiced it for like 30 minutes, and then after I played it, it was like after I played it for 30 minutes, I had perfect pitch. It was crazy. Like I just had.
What do you mean?
I just could hear every note. Like I literally had perfect pitch for like an hour or something. Like, cause I went back upstairs to the piano rooms.
Right.
And then I was just hearing all the other pianists practice, and I could hear like G.
Right.
You know, so it kind of made me want to like pick it back again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like maybe because it was my first instrument, the relationship with that, like, I don't know.
There is something to be said. Like, I always find it weird the way like ear training and stuff like that is taught in school. I obviously understand why it's taught a certain way and all this, but like there's no question that there is a mind ear or mind body or whatever connection, you know, in terms of the instrument. And like if somebody asked me out of the blue what note is a certain note, I don't know. But then if I imagine playing that note on the saxophone, I'm like, oh, I think it's an F sharp or whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's and obviously piano, the way it works physically, like I can understand somehow intuitively why you would have perfect pitch or just better ears in general when you're playing a violin versus a piano, you know?
Yeah. It was a crazy experience. It made me want to buy a violin and practice it just a little more, just to get because I liked it and it was cool. You know?
Yeah. Well, you know, Craigslist or Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace or whatever, you know. It's always possible. I think I forget who it was that told me this. I think it might have been a guitar player, or it must have been a guitar player or a bassist. I just forget who it was, but they said that like they discovered they had perfect pitch when they realized they always knew what E sounded like, because you know that's the first string, right? So they're kind of like, whenever I tune, I hear that note, so I just kind of know where it is. And as time went on, you know, start to develop. And I think also just the actual like physical vibration, you know.
I think like in the violin, you're very close to the.
Well, that's it. It's right in there.
Very close relationship with the instrument. It's
Yeah. So we kind of jumped around a little bit, but I want to get back to so these are your boys from high school.
So yeah, these are my boys from high school.
Okay.
That's Jensen. Like these two, like the trombone player and the trumpet player are actually brothers.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, and that's my dude Sasha. So we were basically part of this jazz workshop. Like it would be like in like lunch break we would have that workshop. Like it was an hour, and basically the teacher, man, Claude Meyer, man, this guy really like gave us the passion, and he would make sure that we'd have opportunities to perform, whether it be like parties, like for teacher parties and stuff like that, like
nice,
whether it's like a commission scolaire and stuff like that. And that was actually I can't remember what that event was, but I think it was something that had to do with like the school board. And yeah, we play, and that's on the drum. I don't know if you can see, but like on the drums, that's Jules Payet, the drummer.
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah, right
I've never met Jules, but I remember trying to tag the other Jules in some social media. I'm like, wait a second, there's another Jules in Montreal.
Yeah, so yeah, Jules Payet was part of that. He goes to McGill now, so yeah, we were in a couple combos at McGill as well, so it's cool.
Nice, nice. So this is your high school. Where are you performing here?
We're at the Place des Arts. Like,
was it at Jazz Fest or was it a different thing?
It wasn't at Jazz Fest. It was a different event, but it was in the Jazz Fest site, like right next to the Astral, actually.
Yeah, because I see like there's the hotel there, and like
exactly.
Yeah. You know, one of the things I've been finding, well, I can also just kind of ask you about this, but it's just kind of like playing opportunities for young people and all this. Like, what kind of outside of school or directly school, like what kind of playing opportunities did you have?
I mean, the biggest one was church, because as soon as I started playing the piano, I remember, because my dad is not really a piano player, but he was playing the piano at church because there was nobody else. But I remember it was something like,
sorry, I'm going to jump in. So how did you kind of make this? Did your dad show you a few things, or did you have somebody else showing you? Like, how did you make the switch?
I mean, I think because like we had theory classes at my school, so I knew the theory, so I knew the keyboard. You know what I'm saying? I already knew the like which note was what note. Now I already had a basic understanding of like harmony and stuff like that. Like even though it was classical harmony, but we would have. Because Claude Meyer was also teaching the advanced. There was like an advanced theory class, so I was in that advanced theory class, so I already knew the theory behind it. So I remember my mom had said something like, "Oh, I'm gonna give $20 to whoever like learns the piano and plays instead of my dad," you know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, and it's right when I started. So I just like literally, I didn't know what I was doing, but I just went on the keyboard and I just tried to figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta get that $20.
Yeah, exactly. I never got it, by the way. I never got it.
What? You can't go back on a deal. That was a deal, man.
Yeah.
You gotta call out your mom on that. That's not okay.
yeah. I mean, we'll figure it out. But yeah, so like in the best, and so basically like that's like, and we have church 3 times a week. So 3 times a week I was performing basically.
That's amazing.
And it's the best school. Like I cannot like, it's absolutely the best school, because the thing is at my church, like people, they just sing and you don't know what key they're gonna sing in. So you just gotta like really have like really good ears. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing. Yeah.
And it's crazy. With that perfect pitch thing too. It's like I don't have perfect pitch, but like it's kind of like if somebody sings in a key, I kind of like my hands just go to the right key. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of it's a weird thing, but it's the best school. Like it trains your ear in a way that like, so you know, it's crazy.
What do you mean when you say you don't have perfect pitch, but you? I guess you're just saying that you can guess pretty well, or is that what you're saying?
I think so. Because if you would like to sing me a note, I have no clue what note it is. You know what I'm saying? But like when it's at church or whatever and somebody's singing, for some reason I always know what key it's in. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing.
Well, there's somebody, I forget who told me this or said this. I don't think it's like their original thought or whatever, but they said something like, if, like we can distinguish, well, unless you're colorblind, we can distinguish colors and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, like, the only reason why we can't distinguish pitches is because it's not like a survival requirement, like in the wild or whatever, But if you heard one note and then food would arrive and then you heard another note, and, then of course you would remember the note that meant, because at the end of the day, it's memory more than anything,
Exactly. So I think it's something like that. Like, I think maybe the pressure of it's there's a certain atmosphere that's required of me to provide. Maybe that's it. I'm not gonna play the wrong key. I don't know what I'm saying. It's like a very like you're playing for God. I don't know, maybe it has to do with that, but it's maybe it's something like that. I know that it's very important for me to know what key this is in very quickly. You know what I'm saying? So,
it one way or another, it happens.
Comes. Yeah, exactly.
Stefan Krim says, I guess subconsciously you do have perfect pitch, and I think that's a way of thinking of it. Some kind of yeah. And from earlier, Paolo said Jules Payet too. So it's a question of which one is one and two.
It's because Jules Payet actually has he goes to McGill, right? And Jules Payet, the sax player, also went to McGill. So his McGill email is literally Jules Payet 2.
That's crazy. That's freaking crazy. Amazing. So I'm gonna transition a little further forward from this. Although we you don't have to wait for me to. If there's anything you want to get into right away, you just jump in. There's no format. And if anybody has a questions, please go for it in the comments. So kind of moving forward in time a little bit further. Let's talk about this.
Oh my gosh.
Oops, I forgot to screen. There we go. So tell me about this.
Oh my gosh. The first thing I can think is I remember this keyboard, man. Oh my gosh.
Was it your keyboard or was it somebody else's?
It was mine. It was mine, but it was like a Korg. I can't remember.
I heard an H. You were. It was a horrible.
Oh my gosh. It was crazy. It was the struggle days, the struggle. But it worked. You know what I'm saying? I remember I used to carry this keyboard in a golf bag. And,
my God. Okay.
I would carry it in a golf bag. It was crazy, man. Oh man. I don't know. People who know, they know. Keyboard.
Well, everybody starts with something, I remember I used to I don't consider myself a keyboard player at all, but I used to play at a jam session and I was playing both keys and sax, and my keyboard didn't have a 1/4-inch output. It had RCA outputs on it. RCA is like those. That's anyway, crazy. It's just so I understand having a really shitty keyboard. And actually, it was at that jam that I met Kepler. So Kepler played on this horrendous keyboard that I had at the jam. So anyway, whatever. But that was 20 years ago or something like that. So anyway, tell me what's going on in here.
Oh man, that was with a band called the Chromatic Effect.
Yes,
it was a band led by my dude on the guitar right there, Elijah Monsavani.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's basically a family band, I guess, because it was. Oh wait, but you can't see him, but behind him is
Oh right, is
Santiago, my boy.
Yes, I'm blanking on his. Anyway, yes, we know who we're talking about.
Yeah,
here.
Man, that's my dude on the bass.
Yeah.
And that's his brother Isaiah Monsavani, and my guy Mishak Monsavani on the drums, and the keyboard player for this band was actually Jay Rare. So he couldn't make the gig. So he's the real Corey Henry upset.
Actually, he does.
Disclaimer. This guy, I think he was so obsessed with Corey. That was crazy because these were the beginning. So when I met Jay, Jay knew every linguist solo that Corey has ever played.
Whoa.
Like the live ones,
Right.
like the
Studio
ones,
like some random bootleg.
Yeah, the guy he would just go find them and like just transcribe all of them. Like that kind of blew my mind. Like when I first met Jay, I was like, oh my goodness, because at that point, like to me, like that linguist solo was like, well, it's still like
it still is, yeah.
It's an incredible, like so well crafted solo. It's crazy.
I mean, it's become like the butt of jokes or whatever, but it really is a great solo.
Amazing solo.
It's incredible.
Like,
it's incredible.
It's an incredible, like me, like the chord intro, man. Oh my goodness. Like it's an incredible, like that solo really like opened up my mind to the possibilities. Like you can play that, like you're allowed to do that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. And it kind of got me crazy for like some years.
Nice.
Jay's an incredible musician. Yeah, like crazy.
So was this your first and only time playing with Chromatic Effect, or did you end up doing a couple more?
We did a couple of gigs. We did a couple of gigs where it was both me and Jay on the same gig.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So it was 2 keyboards. We did a Snuggy Puppy tribute, actually. So,
right.
Chromatic. It was at Bar Saint Denis.
Okay. Yeah. Because I think they did some of that material when they did the Open Art Cypher, but I believe it was J Ray on keys on that one, because Chromatic Effect did the Open Art Cypher at some point. In the early days. But I remember because it was like we had Chromatic Effect. We also had your band at the time, the Real Band, I think was what it was called. And I just remember being like, man, these both of these groups are like next generation. This is what the kids these days are doing. I mean, it's great to hear that. I guess my other question is like the restaurant that you're playing at. Do you know this place, or was it your first time?
I have no clue. It was like it was in the West Island, so like I had a hard time just getting to this gig. You know what I'm saying? It was a crazy gig, and I think it was like kind of an empty room. Like I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Was it a private event, or was it?
I think so. I can't remember. I was just there. I was just there to play because I wanted to play with my friends. You know, and we had a great time. It was amazing.
So the reason why I'm asking that is because I've heard of Caribbean Paradise quite a bit. And I only finally actually got to have their food like maybe like just before the pandemic or something like. Oh no, more like a year ago. It was something like a year ago, but. Their food is fucking amazing, man. It's really good. And the other thing is that they, I don't know the whole origin of this or the kind of cultural origin of this, but there's a lot of like cross Chinese Caribbean stuff, and so they have like Chinese Caribbean noodles and stuff like that, like noodles with like jerk chicken and pork, like it's crazy. But anyway, it's in LaSalle actually, so anybody who's has a means of getting to LaSalle, I strongly recommend Caribbean Paradise, and their portion sizes are insane. It's like it's just a mound of food for like $10-15 or something like that, but whatever. I just this is one of my passions, food. So did you know like the Mansavannis before this, or what's your?
I knew Elijah because like Elijah went to Vanier.
Okay. Did you go to Vanier as well?
I went to Vanier for a year.
Okay.
Yeah, like so we met at Vanier, so that's how we met, and I remember, man, Elijah was like, because like he's such a incredible guitar player, like, and his reharms, like he kind of like, man, he had some crazy reharms at the time, and he still does. But I remember like he kind of like opened up my mind like harmonically.
Oh really?
Like when I met Elijah, it was crazy, like because like he got me into the reharm game, and I was like, oh, you can do that. What I'm saying? Yeah, it was crazy.
That's interesting because I never would have known that you kind of Well, not weren't. I guess you, to a certain degree, weren't too exposed to that before meeting Elijah and hearing him play and all this.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about that. Like when I started Vanya, I had only been playing for 2 years, so I was really new to the.
Oh, right, because you only started piano at 15.
Yeah, exactly.
So you switched to piano at 15, and then you went. Did you go straight to Vanier in music kind of thing after that?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. I just went straight to Vanier. I just after I finished, I still remember because my mom always wanted me to go to Vanier for some reason. I think she wanted me to go to Anglophone Cégep just to because if to her it was important to speak English because we're Haitians, and stuff like that. So for her it was really important. So when I went to finally apply to Vanier, I always knew I was gonna go to Vanier. That's what it was. It was
just you decided a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So when I went and I was scrolling down the programs that they were offering, I saw jazz piano and I was just like, you know what? That's it,
Okay.
And I just clicked it. And I also remember not telling my parents I chose that. I just chose it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because later on that I told them, hey, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah. And what did they say when you said you'd made that choice?
They were supportive. I think they didn't say much. I'm not gonna say they were supportive, but they didn't say much.
Sure. Yeah.
But they didn't say much. But yeah, it was more when I was actually becoming more of a professional that they were like, hey, after all this time, you know what I'm saying?
But I mean, that's not unfair, right? I mean,
no, it's not. Of course, it's they want what's best for you. And
exactly, and what was that?
Yeah. It's understandable because I feel like they don't I don't think my parents know any professional musicians. So they're just trying to see it's a world that they just don't know of. So they're just what is that gonna
what is that? Yeah. And it's not easy to even if they did know professional musicians, it's not easy to make it, and when I say make it, I just mean make a living. I don't mean some kind of great success, whatever. So I understand. And so you went to Vanier. Who did you study with at Vanier?
I studied with Eric Harding.
Oh, yes. Okay, nice.
I was about to say Eric Harland. Eric Harding.
That would have been freaking crazy.
That was crazy. I probably still would be at Vanier if Eric Harland was there.
Man, Eric Harland is one of my favorite drummers of all time, I think.
He's amazing, incredible. His record, I remember who hit me to Eric Harland. It was, I don't know if you know, I'm having a blank. AJ Aboud.
Yes, yeah.
AJ Aboud hipped me to this record called Voyager Live by Night.
Okay.
It's an Eric Harland record.
I don't know it, but okay.
It's crazy. It's Eric Harland, Taylor Ice-T on piano.
Okay.
Julian Lage.
Okay.
I can't remember who's on bass. And Eric Harland, but it's their first gig together, and the record is it's the first time they ever played together, and the record is amazing.
Right.
I remember, yeah. So that he got me hip to Eric Harland, but yeah, I studied with Eric Harding for one semester, and then at some point, Eric, I think he had to have a knee surgery or something like that. So for the next semester, for half of the next one, I studied with Chad Lindsley.
Oh yeah, okay, Chad, yeah. Chad's great also, yeah.
Yeah. And Chad Lindsley, and then for the other half, Eric came back.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's interesting because I always thought of Eric as like a great harmonizer type of plaer. So I'm surprised that you kind of didn't get the bug then.
I mean, I got it, but it was kind of at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Eric showed me so many chords and stuff like that. But
Sure.
The actual reharmonizing popular songs. You know what I'm saying? in a way that like you've never heard it. Like I remember
Yeah.
Elijah at the time, he had this crazy reharm. I've heard it through the grapevine.
Okay, all right. No, I don't think I've heard that one.
Yo, that I don't know. I think it's someone on the internet, but like that reharm is crazy, man.
Okay.
And he also had a reharm of like, but he got me into reharms. I remember at the time I did some reharms. Like just the concept of reharmonization Elijah was the one who really got me hip to that.
Open your eyes. Yeah. It's interesting because that's always been like something I've always really liked. And I think there's always the thing of like a familiar melody with new context,
exactly.
obviously.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just something I've always liked. I'm gonna just catch up on some of the comments here. Stefan Krim, or actually David Rishpan said just Eric Harland, because Eric Harland's freaking amazing. Awesome. Stefan Krim said Harland equals GOAT. And then he also said Ruben Rogers on bass, perhaps. He was on LICTY. I'm not sure what LICTY is. But
I think maybe Ruben Rogers.
It could have been, eh?
Yeah.
So, you know what? I wasn't actually planning on having you react to this, but just on this subject of Eric Harland, why don't we play this? And I don't think there's a copyright issue. And I'd just like to get I'd like you to tell me what tune they're playing. Because it's not obvious. Okay, let me just turn the volume down here. Can you hear it?
Yeah, faintly.
Here we go. Is that better?
Yeah.
Eric Harland's like 18 when this video was made.
Is Giant Steps?
No. We got some guesses going on in the comments. And I think this is also one of Jason Moran's first gigs. Have you checked out Jason Moran at all?
Jason Moran is my guy, man.
Yeah.
My guy. I have no clue what to do.
Okay, it's all right. I won't ruin it for you. But later on, they start quoting the melody, and it's like, oh my god! It's just like you can't believe that that's what it is. But you start to hear it, so I don't want to ruin it for you. But do check it out. There was a couple of guesses. Modibo said "All the Things You Are." It is not "All the Things You Are." And Dave Rishpan also, actually, David Osei says Giant Steps can't be the answer to everything, though. But Dave Rishpan said it's Harish Raghavan on bass on Voyager Live by Night.
Oh, okay.
If that books.
That's,
so there you go.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Harish, man.
Yes, and again, I'm not going to ruin it, but I believe that Zach Fisher got it correct. I'm not gonna. I can't actually remember what. I can't
even see what.
Yeah, it's on my personal. Anyway, we'll get to that afterwards. But shout out to Zach Fisher.
Crazy. Yeah, shout out to Zach. That's my dude. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to listen to this recording. Okay.
It's crazy. Greg Osby is look, this interview is not about me, but Greg Osby is like my number one guy, and like Jason Moran, Eric Harland, all these guys that came out of that
Moran,
school. Yeah. I took a lesson with Jason like 20 or 15 years ago or something like that. He was at Jazz Fest, and I went to McGill with him, and he got in the practice room and he gave me a lesson. Anyway, amazing player.
Oh man, Jason man is my guy, man. I think he's the guy, man. He's like he's like straight from the lineage, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
He also like, I think he's the director of this camp like called Jazz Ahead.
Oh, he directs Jazz Ahead? I didn't know that. Okay.
That, like the Jazz Ahead, the Betty Carter Jazz Ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I what I like about him particularly is just that mix of very strong traditional influence, but also very strong outward-looking, forward-moving influence.
Yeah. It's crazy because like he really has the tradition down, and then just like pushes it. Like it's crazy, man. And like he was in a record that really changed the game for me. Is Logan Richardson's record Shift.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think it's also Harish Raghavan on bass and Nasheed Waits on drums.
Nasheed Waits is a monster, man. Oh my god,
he's crazy. And it's who is it on? It's Pat Metheny on guitar.
Okay, yeah,
and Jason Moran on piano. It's crazy. Yeah, that record, like compositionally, that record really hit me hard. Yeah,
interesting.
And Jason, I think Jason is kind of like, for me in that record, he kind of is like the driving force of that record. Like it's crazy, like how he leads.
He's a really, like, the way, I don't think the way he plays is compatible with everybody, but nobody's playing is compatible with everybody. But it really is, like, if it works, it really works, because it's such a strong voice in what's going on, so you can't just like one of my favorite small groups in jazz was the Wayne Shorter's small group with Danilo Perez on piano. And there's, as far as I know, only one I shouldn't say only one, but I know that Danilo Perez subbed out and Jason Moran subbed in that band. And I found a recording somewhere. I forget if it must be like a live bootleg or whatever, but it's not that good, unfortunately. Like it doesn't fit with, I think. I mean, it's not that it's not an objective reality. Exactly. I would recommend finding it, but it was not my favorite. Well, also I love that quartet so much, and it's hard to fit in such a tight knit, So, of course, David Rishpan, the jazz historian, gives a little direction. He says, Ellington, Monk, Bud Powell, Herbie Nichols, and then an arrow to Andrew Hill, then an arrow to Jackie Byard, and then an arrow to Jason Moran. And that's definitely true. I mean, I definitely hear those guys, especially Andrew Hill and Jason Moran.
Andrew Hill. Oh, man. Andrew Hill, man.
Yeah.
That's my guy. Oh, man. Andrew Hill. He's crazy. Yeah.
He's crazy.
One of my biggest
influences. So let's talk about influences a little bit. I mean, you have told me, but who else are you influenced by?
Bud Powell. Bud Powell. Bud Powell.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Did I forget to say Bud Powell? Yeah. But Powell is like definitely for me like my biggest musical influence as far as the piano, and like just like the way like his playing to me is so emotional. It's so like raw. It's so honest. It's so in the moment, and it's so genius. Like just like that, his harmonic like his ideas are just like it just seems like they just flow out of him, you know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like like Bud Powell for sure, like my favorite.
Do you have a favorite album?
All of them. No, but honestly, like probably Inner Fires. Inner Fires. One of my favorite ones, Bouncing with Bud. I mean, all of them, man. I can't. Like, it's like, and that's the thing. Like 2 years ago, I spent like a whole year just listening to his like everything I could possibly find of Bud Powell, and that one like recording with Mingus, the Mingus there. Like that was amazing, and that just I listened to that so many times, man. Like so many times, it's crazy. Yeah, man. But so I didn't know there was it.
Sorry,
I
go
didn't
ahead.
know there was a video. That's
Well, that's
what,
it.
like,
Yeah.
so that like blew my mind even more because I was like, oh my goodness. like, I had no clue, man. Oh man.
Yeah, so I always ask the guests to kind of give me something to, or for them to react to, rather. And Theo sent this one in, so we're gonna play. I mean, it's 14 minutes long, so I don't think we're gonna listen to the whole thing necessarily, unless you have like a play-by-play all the way through that you really want to get into.
Nah, not really. I just listened to it so many times. Just watching it. It's like it's crazy because like I had no clue that this video existed.
Right.
Like, and I've listened to this recording so many times.
Yeah.
Man.
So the crazy thing is, like, from my generation, or I guess my generation and a little bit before as well, there used to be all these communities of people, like, you could find, like, these ads in the back of, like, jazz magazines and stuff like that for, like, hey, we have live bootleg recordings on tape of, like, yeah, you know, and you'd send money to them to, like, somewhere in Europe, and they'd send you tapes back and all this kind of thing. Yeah, that was back in the day, and now everything's on YouTube. You know, everything. You know, so it's kind of crazy that there was this whole industry of underground tapes. But anyway, so let me play a little bit of this, and we can you can give a little bit of play by play or whatever you want to say about it.
I just want to watch this video.
all right. So I'm gonna put it on.
This one. Yeah, because like that whole album, is like basically it's like a cordless record. I think Mingy plays piano on a couple of tracks, but like basically it's like it's a cordless, but Bud hops on this one, and this is like and this is in France. This is 1 year after Bud moved to Paris.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Here we go. So random.
They don't know what they're witnessing. And I always think, like, what if I was there? You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that's the other thing. I mean, there's so few of this generation that are still like Sonny Rollins is one of the few ones that's still around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, they died so young. Like, but I think he died at 41 years old.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know. This is so weird. I don't want to see the cameraman right now. Yeah. He's feeling it.
Yeah. I like this recording because like a lot of Clubhouse souls are very short, but I feel like this one, like you really get to like hear him like.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, that's the problem with the older recordings in general of this everything being super, 2-3 choruses max.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but then and it's super loose too. Like he's really going in. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah. So have you transcribed parts of this solo?
I haven't, but I'm probably good. That's one of my projects.
There you go, another one on the back burner. I mean, man, there's just so much material in here.
Yeah, like it's like basically like that's why I love this recording. That's one of my favorite recordings because it's all in there.
Yeah.
And plus it's on a tune that it's on a,
Yeah. I always find it, I mean, I like this tune, but like I always find it even more amazing when people play what I consider to be like a forgettable or whatever type of tune and they just kill it, I'm like,
exactly.
Like Autumn Leaves or something. I'm like, oh, that tune sucks, and then they play this crazy ass version, And it doesn't even. When I say crazy, I don't mean like every reharm imaginable. I just mean like killer playing,
Yeah, man. Like, what is that guy, man? What is that guy? That's in yeah, and he died like 6 years later, 1966, I think. Yeah.
All right. Well, this is a 15-minute video, a 14-minute video. So I'm not gonna play the whole thing on the stream because But it's a great one.
Go check it out, guys.
Yeah.
Like Powell, I cannot say that enough. But yeah, but Powell went through a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like in his life too, like police brutality, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like started a series of like him going in and out of the hospital for mental health issues and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he didn't get it easy, man.
Definitely not. It's just when I think about how. Anyway, whatever. I always feel horrible when I hear about these things, and I cannot imagine what it is like to be a black person and hearing about these things.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's hard on the mental for sure, but
yeah.
Move in.
Anyway, I'm gonna keep going, but we can talk about anything, including that subject. We have a couple of questions that came in, so I just want to respond to those. So first of all, Celine said, so good. I love how he's singing his solo at the same time. And also, Franco's asked, Theo, do you hum while you improv? We'll get to that in a second. And then Zach also said, which I think is hilarious. He said, gotta respect Dolphy's fit on this. Suit and tie with sandals is pretty killing. So
yeah, facts. Eric Dolphy, man.
Eric Dolphy, man. Another one of my personal big influences.
Bro,
his playing on Blues on the Abstract Truth, Oliver Nelson, it always just totally blows my mind every time I listen to that thing. But yeah, so to answer Frank, actually, first of all, Franco Parade, thank you. Franco donated $10. There is a link to donate if you want to help support these, as well as our merch store, as I mentioned. But so Franco Parade's question was, Theo, do you hum while you improv?
Yeah, sometimes, a lot of times. I mean, I think like my whole thing, I like the whole way I approach like my playing and how I want to solo is I really like my goal is to like sound the most like a singer as possible. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like I'm really influenced by vocalists, so I guess like I try to sing like play what I sing, you know what I'm saying, rather than to sing what I play type thing. Cause, you know, so I'm trying to like and working on it actively. Just like if I'm sitting on the piano and I'll just sing a line and try to play it back. Right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like sometimes, but
But I mean,
not
you
all
also sing yourself. Like it's not just you know.
Yeah, I try. Yeah, I try to sing. I try to sing. I'm working on it though.
All right.
But yeah, I think like singers really inspire me as far as phrasing goes. But
Who are some of your favorite singers?
Marvin Sapp. Marvin Sapp. He's a gospel singer. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
And he's incredible. Kim Burrell.
Okay.
Also a gospel singer. Layla Hathaway.
Of course, yeah.
Malika is one of my favorites.
You gotta. I mean, I agree, but you know.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of. Yeah, man. A lot of gospel singers. I like a lot of gospel singers just because like that's my background.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? I mean, I think that's a lot of them right there. Yep.
So you always have a sort of not a singing approach, but like it's there in the back of your mind, and it's triggered, I guess, by your playing sometimes. If not the other way around is what I'm saying.
Yeah, sometimes I hum. I can't tell if I hum all the time, but yeah, definitely sometimes I hum. But I don't make it a point to hum. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah. It's not definitely not a conscious choice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So for me, obviously, as a saxophone player, I don't hum while I play. But when I do play keys, if either somebody talks to me or if I sing something, I can't turn off my voice. So then I start singing everything else that I'm playing. You know what I mean? Like, so if I'm just playing, I'll just be playing along, and then somehow somebody like gets my attention somehow, and then I start going, and it just starts coming out as and I can't stop. So anyway, it's a weird thing that happens. All right, so that's a little bit about Theo's influences and all this kind of stuff, and I hope that answers your question, Franco, a little bit. And I'm going to move a little bit further in time. So we talked about, actually, this is perfect. This kind of ties into the whole singer thing. So I'm curious to get, sorry, I got to switch this over. I want to know about what this is about. And what is the Jesus chord?
It's just the Jesus chord.
Oh, man, okay, I thought it was some other crazy thing. I don't know what.
This is like, I think we did a recording with Don Hebert, who's now Violette Hebert.
Yes.
At the studio with back in the day, and these were just the notes. I think these were just like that. It was the form or something. There's the form, and then we had on Jesus.
Okay,
Jesus.
yeah. Well, I guess it was also. I was assuming Cash is Kashka Matoga.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. Exactly.
Yeah. Just working with singers and all this, because I think the first time I saw you perform with the real band, she also came up and sang a little bit, I believe, and I was also curious about the Jesus chord, so that makes more sense now.
Jesus. It was just an inside joke.
Okay. So kind of I'm just going to keep asking some things to react to over here. This is kind of tied into everything you've talked about as well. Can you tell me a little bit about who's in this photo and how you know each other?
That's Frederica Fitzthum. She so basically she has a choir, a gospel choir. So basically, I think we met because when I was at Vanier, she basically was she was teaching us in the choir. I think she was replacing Philippe Bourque. I don't know if you know Philippe Bourque.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so she was replacing, and that's when we met. And then I played a couple times with their choir at I think it's River's Edge Choir. It's an NDG. Yeah. So yeah. So that was like before the service or something. Yep.
Okay, so do you still play with River's Edge, or was that just a one-time thing? Or
I mean, I played a couple times, maybe 2 or 3 times. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the connection, the reason why I brought this up is that Frederica was one of my TAs when I was at McGill.
Wow.
Back then, she was in the master's program doing, I think it was conducting kind of thing. And she was teaching, I think, like one of the first year theory. I can't even remember what it was. Oh, no, it was ear training. It was the first year ear training class.
Wow.
And she was my TA for that. So when I saw this, and I've been seeing, because of River's Edge, I've been seeing other people I know with her, and I'm like, what's she doing now? Like, what's
girl, wow.
So yeah. Coming back, a blast from the past. But let's talk a little bit about what you're doing these days. So what are you working on? What are you playing? What do you have in the oven? Yeah, in the works. Yeah.
It's a secret. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, I'm just trying to, practice as much as possible. Like mostly like the rudiments, like scales and stuff like that. Trying to write, like, cause I feel like in this quarantine, I thought I was gonna write like so much, and I wrote a little bit, but like not as much as before. Partly, I think, because like I think life inspires me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think like it's not that there's no life, but like it's different type of a life.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
well, for you, like when it comes to composing, is it something that you sort of forced to like, not forced, but do you sit down to like write a tune, or is it something that, I just got this idea? And
it's just like most of the time, like I gotta say maybe 99% of the time, like when I sit down to write a tune, I just play it, and it's just that the tune's I just play it once, and that's the tune.
So you kind of had it in your head beforehand, or it just it gets worked out in the moment?
I just play the tune, basically. I sit down on the piano, and then I just play the melody, and it just builds itself like in one sitting.
Wow. Okay.
Like I don't. Sometimes I hear it. Like I'll hear the melody and the chords, and then I'll sit down to figure out what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, I'm just playing around, and it just. I don't force it. It just comes pretty naturally. Yeah.
Do you have do you record yourself as you're doing it, or does it just kind of come about, or like what's the?
I think I used to. I would just memorize it. Before, I would just memorize the tune. I wouldn't really record it. But then at some point, I started forgetting some tunes.
Mm-hmm.
So I started recording myself.
I was asking more like the process of doing it. Like, do you just sit at the piano and mess around, or do you like record it and be like, oh, what was that I just played? Or like, because the problem I have when I'm composing is that I'll have something and I think it's solid in my head, and then I start to play it, and then I lose it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very spontaneous for me. It's just like if I sit down like at the piano, before I write the tune, I know that the tune is gonna come out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
it's pretty strong.
That, yeah. It's very like exactly. Like but right before I play, I know I'm about to write a tune right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically how it goes. Like, and then I memorized it. I just memorize it by just playing it over and over again.
Of course, yeah.
And I only I used to have, it's not like that anymore, but I used to have a bad habit of only writing it down when I absolutely had to.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And like anybody that's played with me will tell you, like, I'm always trying to like teach them the tune, like rather than write like a chart.
Right.
Like as much as I possibly can, I won't do a chart.
But now, I mean, you seem to be saying that like it's a bad thing. Is that how you feel? Or
no, I don't feel like it's a bad thing. I don't feel like it's a bad thing, but I don't know. Maybe I think ever since I started going to McGill, I felt like it was kind of a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Because like,
sure,
like in combo, like I kind of had to like write like charts out. Like it's because like people don't have time to like learn your tunes and stuff like that. Everybody's kind of busy, so it just made it easier to have have charts, you know.
Right. I mean, my feeling on it is that charts and notation and all these things, they're communication aids, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But okay, so somebody had told me a while ago that you have this kind of approach of like memorizing everything, like learn the tunes, not just like read it off of a sheet, you know. And I think that's noble. I think that's excellent. I think that's a great way of doing things. Now, the reality is we don't always have that luxury of like spending the time to, you know, but I think if you can, it's way better. Of course, every tune that I've learned like by ear, I have never forgotten, you know what I mean? But the tunes I learned off a sheet, I'm like, how does that one go again? I can't, I can't remember.
Exactly.
You know, so I don't think that that's a bad thing, but it's interesting that you look. I just want to say, because last week when I was interviewing Chris, one of the subjects we got into is how in some cases people go to school and something gets sucked out of them. There's some kind of thing that gets sucked out, and you come out and it just like, I'm not gonna say it sounds like shit, but there's something missing, you know. And so so if you're telling me that you're like, oh, I guess I feel bad if I don't write out charts, like, no, that's
it's not that I feel bad.
Okay,
it's just like, I mean, in some cases it would not be like the best. Like in some cases, like I felt like I was forcing people to like learn the tune. Like I would always like joke around with like, because like with everybody in the band that I'm in right now, they all have like perfect pitch. All of them. Like,
oh wow, okay.
It's like Zach Fisher, Yesay Ali. I don't know if you know. If you don't know, Zach and Yesay, and Mary Kate Lee has perfect pitch as well. So like, my whole excuse for not making charts was like, you guys will hear it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but it was, and also I think every time I've taught the music, it just sounded better. Like it just, you know, it just sounds better when they're not reading it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
you know,
I think
like
you're
already in the music right off the bat, and like anybody that's in my band will tell you. And also I used to like have very poorly written charts just because I didn't know how to do it, and I would always wait to the last minute to like, because I just didn't want to write it down. You know what I'm saying? But now it's different. Like I feel like now I write the tunes off of but off of the paper, but I still have the same approach. But I kind of got the habit to write it down.
Right. Well, I mean,
I'm done. I'm saying.
I think you need to have the skills to do it. Like you should have the skills to write it down. Like it shouldn't be an excuse to be like, oh, well, I just do everything by ear, so I don't know how to write charts. Like that's not a good, you know. But I do feel that it is superior to learn things by ear.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, but it's also a thing of like, there's different contexts, right? So it's one thing to be doing like a combo at McGill with just other students. It's another thing to be a sideman in a project. And it's another thing to have your own project and be like, this is my band, this is how I run it, and this is how I want everyone to learn it, you know? You know, I've seen certain artists play where there's never charts, never. You know, ever. And I've asked them, like, how do they do it and all this? And they're like, well, when we integrate somebody new, like, there's like maybe 10 tunes that they have to learn, but like, you know, we want to have more repertoire and all this, but I don't want to have like, you know, 300 tunes in the repertoire, and you know, then how are you going to possibly memorize that? You know, it's like they kind of have ways of forming it or putting limits on it. I mean, Dave Rishman was asking a question related to this. He says, Theo, can you talk about how you memorized Ambrose's Brooklyn? I guess you guys are talking about that right now. So can you talk about that? I'm not familiar with that piece, by the way, so a little context would help.
That tune is killing, man. I remember was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. So Ambrose is like one of my heroes for sure. So he was the artist in residence at McGill last year. So there was a concert with students. So the tune that he used to audition people was a tune called Brooklyn off of his record Rift and Decorum, live at Village Vanguard. And it's basically it's a crazy tune, but that record I've known it. I've listened to it so much.
Mm-hmm.
So like I feel like maybe Brooklyn was the one track actually that I listened to the least too. I think because it was kind of like the craziest track. But how I memorized it, I just yep. That's true. Right after the show, that was a huge show. So yeah, like I think so everybody had to learn it, but I remember like because I just listened to it a bunch and I just learned like I don't know how I memorized it, man. I don't know, man. I tried to come up with something, but I just played it like over and over again, and I just ended up memorizing it.
Well,
Like,
I guess maybe one of my first questions would be, how did you learn the tune? Like, I'm assuming you didn't find a chart, that you learned it by ear, but you can tell me.
no, they gave out a chart.
Okay.
They gave out a chart to everybody, but the chart wasn't. I remember it wasn't the best. Like it was the most accurate chart. So I kind of like, and at the time I was like, I think from last year to now, like I worked a lot on my sight reading, but like, I wasn't the best. Like the chart didn't really help me at that time. I'm saying, so I just kind of listened to the recording like as much as possible, and if I wasn't sure about something, but I was pretty sure about it because I was very familiar with the record, and particular like Sam Harris playing because he had played in the record before that as well. So I was very familiar with his playing and his approach and just the Ambrose sound in general. So it was very natural for me to learn it. I just remember like playing it over and over again, like, and I just memorized it. Like it just became a song in my mind. Like right now, I don't know if I could play it now though. It's like it's a really challenging. It's a really challenging tune. It's a really challenging tune. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think if we come back to basic principles, like if you think about, I mean, it sounds like for you, music was always kind of like a big part of your life and was always in the background to some degree, but with a higher, with analytical listening and all this kind of thing happening all the time, So and my point is, I'm getting all around the point, but my point was just to say that, if you have like a favorite recording or song or whatever, and you listen to it over and over, whether you are a musician or not, you eventually can sing like the entire record. And I don't just mean like the soloist. You can sing what the bass player is doing, what the drummer, like know it inside out. So like in terms of memorizing, I think
kind of that. It's kind of. I feel like I kind of already knew it.
Right. I mean, you didn't know exactly all the notes and whatever, but you knew it was in you already.
Yeah. Like that record, especially that record. Like I remember, like it, like Spotify had done like a, what's it called? Like they tell you what songs you listen to the most and stuff. What albums you listen to the most.
Yeah.
That year, I remember, like it was like all like my top three like was like I had like 4 top artists, and it was like Bud Powell Trio, Bud Powell, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like 3 Bud Powells, and then there's this Ambrose like right at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that tells you how much like I listen to that specific recording of Rift and Decorum. And I remember like it's funny because the first time I met Ambrose was that time.
I was going to transition. So tell us about how you first met Ambrose and all this kind of thing. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of that meeting, but I'm going to throw up some other stuff from that night on the stream.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was the night he was there. Unfortunately, he's not pictured because he didn't come up and play.
Yeah,
but, he did. So tell us. I mean, you can tell us about how you met Ambrose or how you got these guys to come to the Cypher, however you want to talk about it.
Man, okay, that's a crazy story. Oh man, that's a crazy story. Oh man, that story is amazing. It's like kind of one of those like whoa moments for me. It's like
Mhm.
to me, like I didn't take that moment as a coincidence. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought it was very like it meant a lot. Like I didn't think it was a coincidence at all. It kind of was like, okay, like this is, keep doing what you're doing type thing. Like I remember we were at Cypher, me and Mary Kate Lee. I don't know if you don't know Mary Kate Lee. She's like an insane bass player. Like
Yes, indeed.
ridiculous. Like she's like such a fast learner. Like it's incredible. Like how fast she learned that instrument. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, she when she first came to Cypher, I think she'd been playing for a couple of months or something like that,
Yeah,
and then from that until where she is now she's part of the house band as you are as well. It's been crazy to watch the speed of that progress.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah,
but
shout
yeah,
out to
I
Mary
remember.
Caitley.
Yeah, I remember we were going to catch like I think the last bus or something like that, because it was during Jazz Fest, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was Jazz Fest, exactly. So what year was it?
2017.
2017. Oh
yeah.
Yeah, and I remember like we came across I don't know if you know this great he's from Montreal. His saxophone player called Joey Omisil.
Yes.
Like Joey, we saw Joey and we were like, "Yo, Joey, how's it going?" Like we started talking about Joe, and like basically like he was just talking, like giving us some game about like the whole music path and like how hard we needed to work and how hard he worked to get where he's at. I'm saying, yeah, that's Joey. That's my big bro right there. And as we're talking, like I just see, because I had already met Justin at that point, Justin Brown. I had met him like multiple times at Thundercat shows in Montreal. Like,
and he was at Cypher the year before that, also.
Exactly,
2016.
Exactly. I think that's the first time I met him. I think that's exactly it. And yeah, I remember. Yeah, so I saw Justin. I was like, "Oh my God, it's Justin!" You know what I'm saying? And then I saw it was a pack of them. It was Justin, Ambrose Akimisiri, Justin Tyson, Eric Harland that we mentioned earlier, Harland, Kendrick Scott, Gerald Clayton. Who else was there? Harish Raghavan was there.
Yes.
Am I missing anybody? Yeah, I think that was it. I think I'm missing somebody. But yeah, all these people were there, and I was just like I couldn't believe like what I was seeing. Like I was like, oh my goodness. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, it was crazy because I remember like there's this I spoke to Kendrick Scott because there was this one tune that like I absolutely love, like called Cycling Through Reality. Like everybody that's ever played with me, like probably I made them play that tune. You know? Yeah, like exactly. And it was crazy because I actually talked to him and I was like, "Yo, so like, what is this song about?" You know what I'm saying? He like explained what it was about. He was saying that it was about his brother that kept going into like this destructive behavior habit that he had, but every time he would come out of it, he would come back better. And if you know the tune, like it's basically chorus by chorus, like it's like kind of a cycle passes on. So he said like every time you play, it's your time to play, you have to come out better than the last time. You know, it's like kind of a cycle. Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, I remember. Yeah, so Ambrose was there as well, and it was just like, and I like that. I mostly talked with Gerald Clayton. I remember because like as a piano player, he was my guy. So we had an interaction, and he was really, really encouraging. And like he asked me, "Oh, so who are your favorite piano players?" And I was like, "You."
Well, you were honest.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And then it was a crazy time. And we actually after the whole thing, I actually like Gerald like kept gave me his contact information, and we kept contact ever since. Yeah, that was a crazy night, man. And I think that's me, like right in the corner right there.
I think so. Yeah. Right. Unfortunately, you're
Yeah.
kind of cropped out, but I think that is you over here.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to thank you, you know, and thank many people who have made these wonderful, incredible, killer musicians, and also very giving people from my interactions, my limited interactions, because I'm usually on stage like hosting and trying to get people up and down, so I don't get to interact with them, unfortunately. But all these people who have come through over the years, and those that have made it happen, because I know that sometimes, you know, you or other people have reached out to people and be like, okay, we sent a text to so and so, we say, you know, like trying to get people to come through. So it's always greatly appreciated. And you know, you mentioned briefly talking with, you know, well, just in general, I guess my question, my sort of follow up is like, do you have, you know, any kind of family connections in the States, or are you, because you know you're playing with Yese when you managed to get him up? I know Zach is from I'm blanking right now. Philadelphia. Thank you. Yeah. Are you trying to collaborate more with musicians from the States, or is that something further down the line you're thinking about, or what's up with that?
Yeah, sure. Like I'd love to. I mean, I have some friends there. Like I love to play with any musicians. Like I love music, so I'm trying to definitely go and play with musicians from all around the world if possible. Yeah, but yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm trying to maybe go more to New York and stuff like that and hang out and see what it is, because I never actually went to see a show in New York ever.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So
you've been to New York though?
I've been in New York, but I never checked out the music scene down there.
Okay. Yeah. New York used to be for me like one of my favorite cities to go to, kind of thing. Just in terms of everything, but definitely in terms of music. But I also, a few years ago I went to New Orleans for the first time, and that completely changed my worldview about music, really. But I would strongly recommend going there and checking the scene out and sitting in on sessions and whatever, for both the good and the bad of it, you know, because obviously everyone in New York especially are just, they're all fighting over the same like gigs that pay like $20 or whatever. Well, not every gig pays $20, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'll put it this way. Like I remember going to Smalls for the first time. This was like a long freaking time ago, at least 20 years ago. And back then their special or their deal or whatever was like live music from 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. And it was $8 cover charge. So their thing was 8 hours of music for $8.
Oh my goodness.
You know, and I remember, so I was like, okay, well, there's always gonna, like, when all the other gigs are done, this will still be going. So I would go there at like 3 a.m. after having seen other stuff, and there would be like 10 musicians on stage, 4 audience members, 3 of whom are asleep, you know. And like, but the band is so thrilled to have a gig in New York. So like that was amazing and also depressing as hell, right? To see people like fighting over these gigs. But anyway, I all that to say, I strongly recommend you go to New York, check out go to other places in the States and check out the scenes there, because it's something.
I definitely got to go to Philly. I definitely got to.
Well, there you go. Yeah, Philly's got some great people, that's for sure. Some great clubs too. I've never actually I've been through Philly, but I've never spent any time there. So I'd be curious to know what the scene is like. But can you talk a little bit about Yese and your collaborations with them? And
man, Yese, man, this guy is such an incredible musician, man, and human being. And like that's my brother, man. Like I think I met Yese because I remember back in, I think in 2017. I think it was in 2017. I was auditioning to Berkeley. I was trying to go to Berkeley, so I would go to Boston a lot that year. I had a friend that lived there, and I have some friends that lived there. The Fontemis brothers, Ferdy and Elijah Fontemis, crazy musicians, trumpet player and drummer. And yeah, like I just like somebody. I remember I had a friend called Alisa Faratro. She told me I should link up with Yesay. And I remember like she showed me some videos of him and stuff like that. And I remember seeing him in the CAF, and I reached out to him and like we exchanged informations, and that was that. And then it's only later on like when I met Zach Fisher. So the first thing, like when Zach told me that he knew Yesay, I was kind of like, oh wow, you know Yesay, I know Yesay, and like we both like had like a deal that we wanted to bring him up to play some gigs up here. So yeah, so like we just like made it happen a couple times, and now it just became a thing just like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've discovered Yesay through you. Like I didn't know him at all beforehand, and he just completely blew me away in terms of the maturity of his playing, the amount of stuff that he's got under his fingers, inside of him. You know,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's really crazy. So, but did you record any stuff with him while he was in town?
We recorded some stuff. But
I'm gonna save this for the Yesay interview. This is gonna be.
Oh my gosh!
I'm not sure what year that was.
Interview Yesay?
Actually, I should contact him. That would be great. And this is a more contemporary photo of him. So from this to this. But anyway, sorry, I was asking you about any kinds of.
We recorded some stuff, but what happened is I made a campaign, but I didn't have the funds to finish the record.
Okay, all right.
But I'm still trying to collect money. Actually, that's a good, like, I have a GoFundMe to collect some funds to finish that EP so I can put it out as soon as possible. Yeah, but we did record some stuff, and we're gonna record some more. So be on the lookout.
Yes, I'll actually, I did find the link to the GoFundMe. I'll put it in the video description afterwards. But yeah, so tell us a little bit about that project and maybe some other stuff as well. But what's in there? Who's playing on it, etc., etc.
So it's basically myself, Michel Medrano on the drums.
Yeah.
Mary Kate Lee Gomez on bass. Yesay Ali on sax, and Zach Fisher on guitar. Yep.
Is it all your tunes, or is it a combination?
It's all my originals, basically. Okay. So we've been workshopping them, and like I remember, because I think like all the tunes that I wrote them within like a week. I wrote all the tunes for that record. So yeah, that's basically the material. But I think maybe more like I'm gonna be writing more tunes and try and see what we can do with that. Because I feel like especially in this climate, I want to put out music that reflects what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
And like part of me has a feeling like it'd be weird for me to put out something that like isn't, you know what I'm saying, representative. Because like I feel like Nina Simone says, like the responsibility of an artist is to reflect the times.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's something that's very important to me. So hopefully we get the funds so we can finish this record and put out something that like I feel like will be representative of what's going on right now. You know? Yeah.
So if you do want to donate, you can. I found it very quickly by just Googling for GoFundMe and Theo Abellard, and like I said, I'll put the link in the description once the stream is over. But monstrous players, and as you know, Theo's a great writer. Well, actually, maybe you don't know, but Theo is a great writer. And I kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit. I like how you're not just like or I shouldn't say traditional, that's definitely not the right word, but you're not a purely a jazz instrumentalist in the sense of like, oh, I play piano and I write tunes and I whatever. Like the fact that you're saying, for example, that Nina Simone said that, you know, the music has to reflect the reality of what you're living through. You know, I feel like that's definitely so. What I'm kind of making reference to is Theo just put out a song called Blackout. I think it was on Monday or something like that. It was not long ago at any rate.
No, it was, a week ago, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can play it legally because I just don't want the stream to be shut down because if it's been released, it may be in like content ID systems and all this kind of thing. But do check it out. It's on Bandcamp, theoabellard.bandcamp.com. It is a great tune. It's really cool. And I like that you are integrating all of those different aspects of yourself into what you're doing, and it's not just chord changes and a melody, you know.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, man. And this track is crazy because it never had a title until I put it out. You know what I'm saying? Like we would always refer to it as MLK, like the MLK track, because like there's if you go listen to it, there's the MLK speech right at the beginning. Yeah.
So that's kind of a interesting. Well, so I didn't know, for example, whether the MLK speech was something that was always part of the song, or whether it was something that you could.
It was always part of the song.
Mm-hmm.
It was always part of the song. Like speech. I'm saying I just really love that speech, so I just like kind of wrote it around that, and there's actually a melody to the song, but in this song I don't even play the melody to the song, you know. Like it was called new music
oh yeah
like artists in new music series, and we performed it, and I always had that speech. That speech was kind of like the focus of that song, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's why when I was going through my files, like actually Reynal was the one who was asking me for that track, you know what I'm saying? And then I was going through my files and I heard it and I was like, wow, like this, like it's so relevant to like what's happening right now. So
I'm glad you put it out.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Reynal, another great young talent, and he started playing with Le Cypher not too long ago, and then he did a gig with the brass band, basically subbing. We were looking for somebody to sub, and that kid is amazing, man. Reynal is killing it. Like, he is such a quiet, soft-spoken, or at least my experience with him has been like he's a super quiet, soft-spoken, I would have thought shy person. But with the brass band, man, we went to a drum solo and he went to the front of the stage and was like,
he's a savage, man.
He was killing it, man.
Reynal is one of like the most like hungry, like young musicians that I know. Like, and that's why I love playing with him, and just not just music, like everything about him, like ever since I met him, like always like that.
How did you meet Reynal?
I actually met him because, so basically, I don't know if you remember that other photo, that trumpet player. So that's
I'll pull that one up again.
So basically, Huggins, like the trumpet player, he actually went to Cégep Marie-Victorin in piano. And like,
I totally know this guy then. Okay.
I think he came to the
Cypher absolutely. In fact, I was looking through photos trying to find stuff for you, and I saw photos of the two of you together, and I was like, oh, this guy, I remember him coming like way back in the day. Anyway.
So basically he went to Marie-Victorin, and that's when I like kind of because I think John Roney used to teach there, and that's where I met John Roney for the first time. So,
did you study with John at all?
No, I never studied with John, but yeah, so I would hang out at Cégep Marie-Victorin a lot, and Reynal was actually in the music program on drums. So that's when I met him. There's actually like videos of me and Reynal jamming like 7 or 6 years ago, like way back in the day, like at Cégep Marie-Victorin,
Nice.
and yeah, he's always been a crazy, like, vicious player, and so
Yeah.
so yeah, we got along. We got along ever since then. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's how I met him.
I find it interesting that you're kind of like you're part of this younger generation of players, but you also, well, not everyone, but like I was going to say that like there's some players that you play with that have seemingly about the same experiences and whatever that you have had, and then others that have had much less experiences, but you're interested in working with them anyway and kind of like exposing them to certain opportunities and stuff like this. That's something maybe I'm reading too much into what I've seen, the people I've seen you play with and all this kind of thing, but that's what I take out of it, and I think it's great.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think, like I try to like play with so many different kind of people that like wouldn't be playing, like wouldn't be playing in the gigs that I would put them on. You know what I'm saying? Just like to like try to get as much, like more specifically like Black musicians, like as possible that I can on the scene. Like if I see like talent and like the drive, I'll try to invest in what I believe in. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like I always try to try to work with people that I see potential in, and like that I know that, if like putting them in an uncomfortable situation, like fun fact, like Bitsa has been playing with us, like with this band actually, like replacing Michel, and Bitsa, like I remember like the we did like our first jazz gig with Bitsa, like it was an Ambrose tribute with Modibo on trombone and actually Franco Fioretti on saxophone at the BAM Gallery. Yeah, Modibo Keita and Franco Fioretti. So so
that was his first jazz gig.
Yeah, that was his first jazz gig ever, you know what I'm saying? And he completely demolished it. Like I think he probably has a video on Instagram or something like that. But yeah, like he demolished it, and like we did a gig at Upstairs, and that was his second jazz gig, and he freaking demolished it too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's that. Yeah.
I found this when I was looking through your profile. See, now I know everybody's social media. I know it inside out because I've been deep diving into this.
Man, yeah. You're doing your homework.
I'm amateur journalist over here.
I remember like he was super nervous, like, oh yeah, like I don't play jazz, and I was like, yo, stop, you know what I'm saying? Like all of us, we were like me, Modibo, and Mary, like all screaming at him, like, yo, like just stop thinking about it, just play. You can play, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
yeah. I mean, he's a very strong another one of these young players that I'm like, oh, okay, and I think it's from my perspective, running a jam session and whatever, it's important. In this case of Cypher, it's like we're in this in-between spot where, yes, it's a jam, but it's also like a show for some people. So it's difficult to like decide who gets to go up and all this kind of thing and like, frame it in the right perspective. But I do not underestimate by any degree the importance of opportunity, and that it's one thing to say, oh, this guy is better or that guy is better or whatever. It's like, yeah, but what if they just have not had the chances? What if they just haven't, like, he's like, my first jazz gig. Why is it his first jazz gig? He can play.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
that's another conversation.
Yeah,
Oh my god. Okay.
So and like I said, like we were talking, I mean, Mary Kately's in this photo as well, and there's somebody who like came from like I said, like the first time she came to Cypher, I think she was playing for like 3 months, and if I had judged her purely on that and be like, whoa, whatever, and look at where she is now. So you can't judge on one, well, first of all, judging is a whole issue in itself, but it's more about the progress that people make. But all that to say, I'm really glad to see that you're somebody who prioritizes this and is doing your part to push people forward, and as you said, to push Black musicians forward, particularly when you see talent there. I got a shout out real quick to Noah Days. He's on the stream as well. Shout out to Noah Days, one of the Cypher hardcore fans who's always there.
That's the guy.
Absolutely. So I kind of have another question. Well, I mean, whatever. There's all kinds of stuff we can talk about. But actually, first thing is, I ask everybody to bring in like a little something technical to talk about, whether it's something about production or something about playing or something about artistry in general. Did you have something specific that you wanted to get into?
I mean, we can talk about a lot of different things. I mean, something I've been thinking about a lot lately is how to approach improvisation. You know what I'm saying? Like how, trying to, because I've always considered myself of a more intuitive type of player. But I've been trying during this quarantine to try to conceptualize my approach, when I'm talking about I'm trying to emulate singers and stuff like that, and emulate stuff that is maybe a bit more abstract, or trying to play a line and really think about what is that line, you know what I'm saying, what is going on intervallically, and really analyzing more stuff rather than just taking it as it is, but really looking more into things. The one thing I've been trying to do is it's a very simple concept, but it's just transposing something in all 12 keys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Transposing a line in all 12 keys, using different intervals. So basically playing the line in sequences of minor thirds, major thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, and basically what has that has helped me really think more about the lines that I'm playing in a way in order to transpose it, I have to kind of know exactly what it is, you know what I'm saying, for it to be easier rather than just okay, I hear it, I can sing it in that key, but
feel it on Giant Steps. You got to actually do some work on this too. Exactly. And I love that kind of perspective on things. On the other hand, one should also not get so lost in intellectualism and then forget about what the feeling of it at the end of the day, which is many times more important. But I agree with all that.
Yeah, and I even ordered this book by Dave Liebman.
The
chromatic approach.
Lydian chromatic, not the Lydian chromatic, the
linear approach, a chromatic approach to linear harmony and melody in jazz, or something like that.
I'm looking at a chromatic approach to jazz harmony and melody. There you go. I even own the book, and I can't remember the name.
yeah, because I felt like that would be a good way to push me in directions that I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? To think through some new concepts and stuff like that. And I just like that those kinds of sounds.
Yeah. I kind of think with a lot of, I mean, this is maybe my interpretation of it. I don't know how, there's also George Garzon's triadic chromatic approach or something. I forget what it was called exactly. But I think in a lot of those cases, it may or may, I don't think that it's always they didn't start with the theory, you know what I mean? They didn't work it out and then whatever. I think in a lot of cases they played have you transcribed yourself, for example? I guess you're saying that you are, because you're taking lines that you are coming up with and working that in all 12 keys and stuff.
Yeah. Whether it's line I'm working on or I came up with, or like lines I transcribe off of Bud or like Charlie Parker, like basically mostly like conceptualizing my own approach, even though it's very influenced and like I might not have come up with everything that I'm playing, but there were specific things about my playing that I just like, I don't know. If you ask me what I played, I had no clue what it was. You know what I'm saying? I like absolutely. So like, yeah, transcribing myself, really like looking like transcribing, but like to like analyze, but also to correct. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, so like trying to really zoom in and like, okay, what is that? What is like, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, like, and like trying to conceptualize it, like trying to find like logic in within like the things that, even though they didn't come out of logic, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like trying to like come up with like, and what happens is this, like the like language just expands itself on its own, you know what I'm saying? Because then you find like different ideas within that small idea. Yep.
Yeah, well, it's when I was saying that there's this danger that we fall into. It's not a universally bad thing. We're always coming back and trying to make ourselves better and analyze ourselves and all this. So I'm not. I just want to make it clear. I'm not saying it's not good to analyze yourself. It is good, or it can be good. We just don't want to. It's like what I was talking about earlier about some people going to school and like you lose something. Like I only went to school for a year, but like I also lost something somewhere along the line, like in the sense of like I've listened to recordings of myself from back in the day, and yeah, there's some issues and whatever, but overall, I much prefer my playing from back in the day because there was something I had there, some kind of. I was saying last week that maybe it's like the sense of like not knowing everything, and you're exploring more, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a bit of that, or I'm not sure what it is, but I think it's important to keep a certain amount of mystery. But at the same time, getting better has a lot to do with, being analytical about where you're at, and so it's a catch-22. But anyway,
definitely
something we're all struggling with.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of reaching the end of my my pre-planned questions. But let me see here. I'm trying to think where I should go from here. Well, first of all, is there anything that you want to speak about particularly that we haven't gotten into?
I mean, I think we talked about. Yeah, I think we went in like I think we went all the different directions for sure.
I guess one of the questions that is kind of interesting for me is, well, there's kind of two parts to it. One is like, where how you came about on the piano or just in music in general. Was it more of a self-taught thing? Was it more, I mean, you did go to school and stuff, but I want to know a little bit about that. And I also want to know kind of what you're planning on doing, because you're still very young, you know what I mean? Compared to me, fucking old fart over here. But, there's still a lot of directions you can go in, and I was just wondering where you're thinking of going in the future. So from the beginning to the end kind of thing.
So basically, like when I first started playing the piano, it was kind of like, yeah, that's something I should mention. It's like what made me want to play the piano is like my friend Huggins. Once again, he was like a really like crazy jazz fan. Like as soon as I met him, he would like hit me to like Miles Davis recordings, Sonny Rollins, all that stuff. He was really hip about that stuff. But then, like, I was kind of like, because I was a classical violinist, so I was kind of like, I didn't really like the stuff he was showing me. And I was like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? But then at some point, he played me a recording that completely changed my life. It was Robert Glasper intro on Yao to Praise Him, like his tune off of his record, In My Element.
Okay, I don't know.
Studio record.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, that recording changed my life because he was basically playing a hymn that I recognized, like called "Great Is Thy Faithfulness," and like because I recognized it in the way he played it was like, oh my goodness, like it sounds, you know what I'm saying? Like I was mind blown by like his approach to the hymn. And I was like, yo, like, and when I heard that, I was like, yo, that's what I need to do. Like that, I remember telling myself that's what I need to do with my life. You know what I'm saying?
Are you talking about just music, or do you mean like the fact that he was combining a hymn?
Like, no, just
piano.
Just the piano. Like I didn't, like, it was just the way he was playing. Like I just like, you know, and then I listened to the whole record and stuff like that. I was like, yo, this is what I need. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then that's when I started playing at church and stuff, and like, and then like that next year I started playing in that workshop, you know, that at school.
Yes, with I forgot the name of the guy, but
it was really self-taught. Like the first piano lesson I took was I took one at Piano Vertu with Chad Lindsley right before my audition. Right before my audition, I remember contacting Chad and like to want to have a lesson with him just to prepare for my audition, because I was scared because I didn't know how to play. And like I remember like in the requirements it said like, oh, you have to have like at least 7 years of piano experience. And I was like, oh my God. Like, you know, I was like, yo, I've been playing for like 3 minutes. Yeah. And like I remember, so I reached out and because they said I think something like somewhere in the website they recommended taking lessons with somebody recommended I take a lesson with one of the teachers.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and I took a lesson with Chad, and I remember I was about to play Autumn Leaves, you know, and then Chad was kind of like, "Oh yeah, like nobody wants to hear Autumn Leaves," like, and then I was kind of like, "Oh yeah," and then he told me, "Oh, do you have anything else like you want to play?" And I remember like playing that Robert Glasper tune. Yada Praise Him.
Right.
So yeah, like I remember playing that, and it was like, and when I think about it, it's like that tune it's like in 5, and then it goes to 4. It's like I can't remember what the meter was, but I didn't know anything about that. You know what I'm saying?
You're just like, I know how to play this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just played, and he was like, "Yeah, like play that," and then like I got it. Yeah, I got in, and I remember on the panel it was Chad, Josh Rager, and Eric Harding at the audition. So so then I went as Danny for a year, and then I started like after that I started going to jam sessions, like I basically anywhere that they were playing music, like I was gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? Like the Jaisons upstairs, Cypher, Community, like all those places. I just remember doing all of that, and then eventually now I'm studying at McGill. I'm studying with Marianne Trudel.
Oh, nice! I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's amazing, man. She really helped me a lot, like as far as like my approach to like the actual instrument, the piano.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. That really helped me in composition too. Like, you know, like I said, like I'm kind of like a one sit, like, and it's like the song is written down, but she kind of like pushed me to like, okay, like try different things, you know, like different composition techniques, like whether it's modulation, it's like playing around with the idea a bit more than just like the initial like, you know,
ejection of the idea.
Exactly. And but what I want to do now, I definitely want to like master my instrument, you know, like I definitely want to. I think the first thing I can think about is just mastering my instrument, you know, like just really like whatever it is that like is separating from where I'm at now and being a master. Like I want to close that gap, you know, for sure. That's definitely something. You know, like finishing my degree, you know. Like,
How far along are you right now?
I have 2 years left. I'm supposed to finish in 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, so So yeah, finishing my degree. I don't know, man. I'm just trying to. Yeah, like I don't know, like probably like record. Like I think something I really want to do is like record an album or a couple albums. Like I definitely, that's something I think is important to me, to like, especially like compositionally, like expand my compositional like ability, and just like record and put out my whatever my artistic statement, you know what I'm saying, in a way that I feel like, I mean, I don't feel like I'm ever going to be satisfied, but in a way that I'm going to be like, you know, happy to like present.
Yeah.
You know,
well, you know, one of the things I always tell people in terms of recording is, yes, we're going to agonize over it and whatever, but it's not your last recording, or I hope it's not your last recording. So just get it out there, you know, and then let's work on the next one, you know?
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
yeah,
I think really like just trying to like be sustainable, you know what I'm saying, while making music, because I remember Aaron Parks was saying, like, he gave a masterclass, and he was saying how and he was really transparent. Somebody asked a question like, how do you make it work financially and stuff like that? Like, super, I don't remember who brought that question, but super great question.
What was his answer?
He was like, yeah, that was crazy. He was like, yeah, like, it's kind of he was saying that it was really hard, because he was saying like, even after like he got like signed to Blue Note and stuff like that, like he still like was in a really not optimal financial situation. So it's like, and that made me realize, like, it's like, what are your priorities? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like priorities, like, what do you want to, because there's a lot of people that like make a living out of music, but you'll never hear their name. Right. And there's people that like, you think that they're, you know, they're rolling in money, but like it's actually not, you know what I'm saying? So definitely being sustainable, like having a family, that's for sure my ultimate goal is to have a family. So yeah, that's it. Having a family, that to me, that would be the thing for me, right? For sure.
I mean, I think something that's important for everyone to keep in mind, and you know, with musicians, we sometimes think like having a day job, for example, is like, oh God, yeah, I have a day job, and we're embarrassed or whatever. No, man, it's normal. It's part of the thing, you know, and it's like there's so many musicians, you know, legendary musicians I'm talking about, who had day jobs all the way through their careers, and it's just like, well, would you rather, you know, I don't know, write jingles for the radio, or would you rather play in a wedding band, or would you rather work at a grocery store or whatever, you know? And I don't think there's any issue with that. I mean, I remember somebody telling me when they went to New York that they were in a random grocery store and they ran into Dave Binney working in the grocery store, like stocking shelves and stuff, you know? Right. And they were like, yeah. And they were like, oh my God. And I'm like, why are you horrified? Like, he has to pay his rent, you know what I mean? And like, his music is not like, he's not playing like Michael Bublé or whatever. Like, he's not, you know what I mean? Like, it's not pop, you know? So sure, he does some touring in the summer and whatever, but like, other than that, unless he has a regular teaching gig or something, it's not going to be so easy. So anyway, all that to say, like, I think it's you know, I think something, if I can give you one little piece of advice, is figuring out financial stability. I'm not going to say independence, even just stability is critical, you know, you know, whether that's playing in a cover band or whether that's working a job, you know, I don't know, driving an Uber or whatever. Like, sorry, I laughed at that, but I shouldn't, because no matter what, you gotta pay. You gotta pay rent. You gotta buy food. You know, that's all it is. You know, but I appreciate that insight, and also to know that you're just kind of figuring it out yourself, you know. Oh, okay. Pierre Mendola's on the stream. He said, I was going to say Dave Binney said he did a day job since he was 14 and just doesn't care if he can make music. I think if he can make money through music is what he's saying. You know what I mean? Oh, okay. And that's, you know what, that's another, so some people don't know, and I don't know if you know this, but I used to work a computer job. I used to be a software developer.
Yeah, you told me.
I told you about that. Yeah. And like when I first switched, there was a very good bass player, François Malot, who I was playing with a little bit here and there at the time. And he told me, at some point he said, like, no offense, Vincent, but don't quit your day job. And he said that not in the sense of like you can't make it or whatever. He wasn't trying to say that. He was just, and maybe I can't make it, I don't know, you know. But he was saying it in the sense like, if you quit your day job, you're now going to have to take all kinds of gigs that you really don't want to do. You know what I mean? But if you have a day job of some kind, well, you can choose. You know, you don't have to be in that wedding band that you hate or whatever, you know. Like, I mean, but I'm not saying that everyone hates the wedding band. Like, that can be fun. You can be in a really, like, you can enjoy playing top 40 on the weekends or whatever, you know, this kind of thing. So there's always a little equilibrium. But at the end of the day, some form of financial stability, I think, is...
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you know, and when you're in school, often it's, you know, the blinkers are on and you're just like, I got to write these tunes for my class and I got to, you know what I mean? And we kind of forget like what's waiting after school, which is nothing, right? There's no like jazz job that you apply to, you know, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's something to figure out. I taught for many years, like as my primary source of income. There was a point in time where I had about 30 students a week. So
you told me about
crazy.
That
okay, so yeah, anyway, just mentioning like, find a way, because it's gonna make the rest a little bit easier. I think it is, you know. But and shout out to Pierre Mendola. I didn't know that you were watching the stream. Salut Pierre. So so I guess
crazy flute player.
Crazy ass flute player. Great flute player.
Inner urge.
Actually, have you heard the version of Inner Urge with Ravi Coltrane and Steve Coleman?
Oh snap! No.
I think it's on the album Mad 6, I think.
Okay.
I definitely can't play it on the stream. That'll definitely get flagged. But check it out. I forget what time signature it's in, and it's fucking crazy ass. So you know, if anybody has any further questions for Theo, feel free to ask them. But I'm gonna pretty much end this conversation here. I did have one question because it is of deep personal interest to me, which is a little while ago you put up a question asking for movies with crazy plot twists. And I'm dying to know what you came up with, or what your favorite movie is with a crazy plot twist.
My favorite movie with a crazy plot twist is Shutter Island.
Oh, and did you see that because somebody suggested it? I saw it as a suggestion.
No, I had seen it. I had seen it before.
Okay.
I had seen it before. And I kind of had I don't think I watched any of the movies that are suggested, but I kept the list. I kept screenshots.
Right, of course. I saved it.
Incredible list. Yeah. Incredible list. Like, thank you to everybody that contributed. But yeah, like Shutter Island is definitely the movie that I was like, at the end, I was like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, definitely Shutter Island.
That one, I'll say like that. So I didn't see. I'm old, as I've mentioned many times, but I did not see that movie when it first came out. And it was like on my like list of like, don't forget, go see this movie. It's gonna be good. And eventually, it was like on Netflix or something. And I saw it. It's great. It's great. It's great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Crazy movie. Yep.
I forget if I seem to remember. Oh, go ahead.
But yeah, like, I just wanted to disclaim my favorite movie of all time is The Matrix. The Matrix.
Really?
Yep,
okay.
Yep,
so when did you see it? I guess
I saw it when I was probably like 6 or 7 years old. But like,
so you saw it when it came out? Or no?
No, not when it came out.
Okay.
My brother had the cassette or some whatever it was, like DVD, and like I watched it. I watched that movie so many times. Like, I know every line in that movie. I watched it. Like, it's a movie that I've watched every year of my life. I've watched.
Really? Wow. Yeah. Okay. And what I have to ask, like, what do you think of the sequels?
The sequels I think the sequels are great. I like the second one. The third one is meh, you know, but like the first one is the best.
Okay. Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I haven't
like
rewatched.
I don't watch the whole thing. Like sometimes I'll be like, okay, yo, I'm just gonna watch the whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the first one is the one. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the first one when it came out, and it changed the game. Like everybody was freaking out. Like this is insane, you know? Yeah, and it's like at the core, it's not like a new science fiction idea or anything like that. It's a very but it's just so well executed and everything.
And I like all the kind of biblical references and stuff like that.
Okay, of course,
like,
yeah.
Like I love that. Yeah, it's true.
The chosen one, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think they even do they mention, because I think they say something like there have been other chosen ones in the past or something like that, and so it kind of implied that maybe some of the historical figures of the past, But did you know that there's a fourth one being worked on?
Yeah. All I needed to know is Keanu Reeves is in it. If Keanu Reeves, I don't care. But yeah, I don't know. Like I'm kind of like woo, but at the same time, I was like, they're gonna mess it up. You know?
I'm the same way. I'm 100% the same. I mean, I didn't like the second and third one. Like you said, like the second one.
It was cool. Like the fight scenes were great in the second one. I think they can't.
It's like. I think to me, like the fight scenes and all that were cool, but like the ideas were what were really cool. And
exactly. Like there was a lot of like questions that were answered in the second one that was satisfying. But other than that,
yeah, and it's like if you're gonna like the second one for me, I was like, okay, they're setting certain things up, and I'm really like it's like Lost. I never watched Lost. Like I watched the first couple of episodes or something like that, and then I was like, okay, these guys are making shit up as they're going along. They have no idea how this thing is going to go. So I just gave up. But in with the Matrix, I was like, the second one, I'm like, oh, they could really know how this. They really could have some crazy big plan. And then when the third one comes out, I'm like, no, they had no idea what they were doing. They just had,
exactly. Like, the third one got like,
so anyway, I hope the next one is good, but I haven't really seen any of the other the Wachowski siblings. I've seen Bound, which is a movie that they made before The Matrix, but I haven't seen I forget the names of the movies, but they made a bunch of other movies after The Matrix, and I haven't seen them, and they weren't very well received and stuff. So I'm like, maybe they've lost the mojo, I don't know. But that's the reason. Part of the reason why I wanted to read this, I also went through all your likes. You have a crazy amount of likes on Facebook. I looked at like what the pages you liked and all this kind of thing, and I noticed that you liked the Dark Knight trilogy. And and Christopher Nolan is one of my favorite directors. Are you interested in it, or have you heard about the new movie that he's working on called Tenet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'm just going to say after this, go check the trailer for Tenet, Tenet. And I was just like, oh my God, what is this? What is this? What is this? So anyway, that's all I'm going to say. Anyway.
I love the music in those movies.
That's true. He works with some great composers. Yeah. I mean, that whole Inception thing has become like it's like The Lick, but for movies now.
Exactly.
Anyway, Theo, thank you so much for being on the stream. Thank you very much for giving your time. And if you have any further questions down below, please direct them directly to Theo, and I'm sure he'll be glad to get into it. Thank you to everybody that was watching the stream. Also, thank you to Franco Proietti, who donated a little bit of money. What I was gonna say that don't forget that Theo does have the GoFundMe, and it is right over here. We'll put the link in the description as well, and check out his music. Definitely check out Blackout and all the other music that he's been putting out there. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, and thank you so much to Theo for being here.
Thanks so much, Vince. Thank you for doing this. It's amazing, great initiative. See you next time.
Yes, see y'all next time. Next week we have KOF is our interview subject, which should be interesting. And it should also be my first interview that I'm going to try to do fully in French. So we'll see. On va voir comment ça va. On va essayer.
one last
yes.
thing before I forget. I'll be playing at Saturday.
Oh yes.
Yeah, at the Resonance concert series. I think it's at 7 p.m. I'll be playing a 20-minute live set from my house. And there's also singer Emma Frank.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, she's performing, and DJ Glowzy as well.
Okay.
So yeah, come on at I think 7 p.m. on Saturday.
So check it out. I believe that's on the Resonance Facebook page, probably. Yes. Yeah. So Definitely. Go check it out there. And there's a lot of online streaming initiatives, obviously, going on right now. Pierre Mendola says, "Let's go to Cypher." I wish, man. I wish. I can't wait for the next one. But thank you very much, Theo. And thank you to all of you. Oh, yeah, and sorry. So we have KOF next week, and then Butter Beats is up the week after that. And then July, we'll be revealing the list of participants shortly. But that's about it. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a good night, and hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
Peace.